Internet, good morning. My name is Pokemon Trainer Steve, aka Magnitude, and I am a big fan of Pokemon Go. I'm sure a lot of you are. Now, recently, Niantic has been a little lax on their communication, but they have been making a comeback, which is giving people more hope and a resurgence of excitement with Pokemon Go. So this video, I'm going to talk about the top 5 things I would improve to Pokemon Go to make it a better game for me. Number 1, how to track Pokemon differently. Now, of course, the tracking has been a giant issue this entire time since the game's come out. The first week or so the game was out, there was steps. You had 3 steps, and the closer you got to Pokemon, the less steps that would appear. Now, down below at the recent, every 9 Pokemon around you would be arranged in a grid, and the closer to the top left of the grid they were, well, the closer they were to you. So that's how you were able to determine which Pokemon were close to you. Recently, they've gotten rid of that. It was broken for a long time. Every Pokemon had 3 steps. You cannot adequately tell exactly what Pokemon is where and how close Pokemon were to you. So they removed that to fix it. So I am retaining hope they fix it and bring it back to what it was, but this is how I would do it differently. I would set it up like a compass. You have the 9 Pokemon in the nearby in the same exact way that they have been before. The closer to the top left they were, the closer they were to you. But each time, if you were to click on the Pokemon, a little mini compass would show up down below where the recent Pokemon would be, just kind of as an overlay. And then the compass will show you the direction that Pokemon is in and how many meters away that Pokemon is in, so you could adequately and accurately track those Pokemon and know exactly what direction you have to go instead of aimlessly wandering around some block or wandering through people's yards or wandering into the road, or you see there's a lot of wandering happening. I'm trying to get rid of that by adding in a little compass. Number 2, Pokemon Centers. Now right now there are no ways to heal Pokemon outside of potions and revives if they faint. I want to change that a little bit. The one way to do that is adding actual places that could represent Pokemon Centers. So you can add in new Pokestops, but they wouldn't give you items, they would simply heal all the Pokemon you have injured. This, of course, would make less use of items, but you don't need to make these Pokemon Centers very frequent. You can make them scattered throughout towns and cities. Or number 2, you could have it so as an item, kind of like the Lure module, that can convert a Pokestop into a Pokemon Center. So as long as you're close, you can spin that Pokemon stop, and all your Pokemon will be fully healed. But obviously there'll be a refresh rate, so you can't use it every 9 seconds, but, you know, that's more up to Niantic and my just wild ideas. Number 3. Battling wild Pokemon. How many times have you seen that useless Weedle and that annoying Spearow on your minimap? And you gotta decide, do I want to catch that for the Stardust and the candy and the experience? And a lot of times you begrudgingly do because, well, the level grind is real in this game. But what if you could battle those wild Pokemon for candy instead? You wouldn't get any experience because the way Niantic has it set up, where Pokemon gain experience simply by candy and that's it. Battle experience is irrelevant and level up by candy. That's fine, I'm okay with that. But what if you could take a wild Pokemon and then you could battle it, and then if you defeat it, you can get that candy instead, or you can get more than one candy as well. Every encounter would be important, and you wouldn't have to waste Pokeballs, especially in low Pokestop areas. You could battle that Pokemon, the Pokemon then would lose HP if the wild Pokemon were to damage you, and then you could use those Pokemon stops as Pokemon Centers like I had listed in the idea before. Or, even better, you could lower the amount of HP a Pokemon has to make it easier for them to be caught. It's a win-win, Niantic. Just do that. Number 4. Candies by type for evolution. You need 125 total candy to get a Ghastly to a Gengar. That's a lot of Ghastly you have to catch or hatch. What if they tweaked it a little bit but raised the candy threshold? What if, instead of every time you caught a Ghastly, you got a Ghost type candy, and you would need, say, 200 Ghost type candy to go from Ghastly to Gengar instead of 125 specific candy. This would obviously take into account the primary type of Pokemon, so any dual type Pokemon, let's say, for all intents and purposes, Charizard is both fire and flying. You would just need fire type candy, not flying type candy to evolve them. Or, the other way to do that is you could have both types of candy to evolve them, so you would need more of the primary type and less of the secondary type. But the overarching idea here is to have a specific type of candy as opposed to a specific Pokemon candy. That way, if they inevitably do add in more Pokemon, you won't need to catch Sentret because Sentret will be just as common as Rattata. you could just have normal type candy and say up the threshold from 12 to evolve a Pidgey to a Pidgeotto to say 25 flying candy. Back to the Charizard idea, if they did introduce dual type candy like that, you could say to go from a Charmander to a Charmeleon, 50 fire type candy, and then from a Charmeleon to a Charizard, 100 fire type candy and 25 flying type candy. That way, it would make every single Pokemon useful, so you're catching Pidgeys not just to evolve Pidgey, but to help evolve any Pokemon into a flying type or evolve any already flying type Pokemon. And number 5, PvP. This is something that a lot of people have been saying they would like to have, but how would they go about incorporating it? Worst case scenario, you're standing around being spammed by some 11-year-old who think it's funny to give you battle requests, making you unable to actually play the game, because you're constantly having to X out of the battle requests. Well, I propose this idea. Everyone can enter a battle searching mode, so a switch you can enter in the settings where you could then accept battles from other people in that mode. If they're close enough to you, they can challenge you, but they have to be real close. You don't want somebody across the mall challenging you to this. Definitely not the radius of a Pokestop or gym, perhaps a little bit closer. That way, even if you are in battle search mode and then some other guy who's trying to troll is in battle search mode, they still have to be actually close to you so you have a chance to get away. Anyway, a battle search mode where if you are both in a battle search mode, a little icon will appear on your minimap. I'm not saying throw every avatar on there because you get in some super crowded areas, you'll have a lot of problems. But you'll have an icon that'll appear on your minimap that'll be on top of the screen somewhere. You'll be able to list all of the people and all the trainer names that are around you in battle search mode. You could select them by name, it'll have their name, it'll have their level and their team. You'll be able to pick them, you'll be able to challenge to a battle, and then the person who you chose is then able to decide, hey, I want to battle this person. And you can give out experience rewards for winning, you can give out coin rewards for winning, you can give out Stardust rewards for winning. There's a lot of things you can do to reward players for winning, but I think PvP in that fashion would be, well, that'd be really fun to do. That's my top 5 list. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, or anything that I missed in the comments below. And be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll be seeing all of you guys. Yep, even you guy. Yes. Yep, even you. Next time. Peace.